The fake daughter Jiang Nuo, whose reputation was ruined, suddenly married a stranger. He thought it was a marriage where everyone needed it, but to his surprise, he was the heir to the richest man. After the flash marriage, Qin Shangyu not only tightly covers his vest but also increasingly feels that his newlywed wife has secrets. Until one day, Jiang Nuo's 7 older brothers appeared, and only then did everyone realize how noble her identity was. Only then did they realize that Jiang Nuo, who had once bullied her, is now unattainable. But Qin Shangyu was despised by his elder brothers. Uncle. Sister, there are many excellent men, and there is no shortage of him. Qin Shangyu. Nuo Nuo, come back with me, I was wrong. Jiang Nuo. Ha. Later, Qin Shangyu doted on her to the skies. Chapter 1. Betrayal from Fiancé A. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Nancheng. 7 Cat Hotel. Don't touch me. Who are you? In the pitch-black room, she could only see the blurry outline of the man clearly. The man had a strong alcohol smell on his body, and his hands moved irregularly around her waist, trying to untie her skirt. Jiang Nuo was weak all over and couldn't break free. She reached out to grab the aromatherapy lamp by the bedside and said, I'll say it again, get out of here. This voice speaks weakly and without any deterrent power. The man didn't even pay attention to her warning and instead took advantage of it by pulling down the zipper. When the man bent down to attack her again, Jiang Nuo didn't hesitate and picked up a glass aromatherapy lamp to throw at his head. But the next second, he was grabbed by the opponent's hand. The speed and strength were so fast that Jiang Nuo couldn't help but moan in pain. Her slender white wrists were pressed against the bed, and her strong copper arms embraced her, leaving her nowhere to escape. The man opened his eyes to look at her for the first time in the darkness, his gaze not clear, but instead filled with cold and stern warnings in his desire. Be calm. He had a low and hoarse voice, and regardless of anything, he pulled Jiang Nuo to the ebb and flow of the tide together. In the end, Jiang Nuo fainted in a daze. Awakening again, Jiang Nuo was awakened by the flashing light, and the room was crowded with reporters. Miss Jiang, is that your infidelity lying in bed? Miss Jiang, your engagement banquet will be in 2 days. Why did you choose this time to have a private meeting with another man? Did you consider Mr. Lu's feelings when you did this? Miss Jiang's self-abandonment is due to the fact that the true daughter of the Jiang family has returned. Jiang Nuo nervously pulled on the blanket. The reporter's incessant questioning caused her to have a splitting headache and the flashing lights kept on. Their expressions were sarcastic and malicious, and they were bound to capture her most embarrassing side. Once these photos are released, she will be greeted with a sense of ruin, like a street mouse. Jiang Nuo panicked and blocked the nearest shot, her tone urgent and her voice trembling. Don't take pictures, don't take pictures. She was simply wrapped in a bathrobe, with obvious pain underneath, reminding her of what happened last night. A paparazzi pointed the camera at her side and pulled open the blanket, revealing a man lying naked inside. I'm a fool, the adulterer is still here. The reporters were discussing and the camera flickered non-stop. How could this be? Jiang Nuo tightly gripped the blanket and forced herself to calm down. She looked at the sleeping man. This person is obese, and thinking of the man's body last night, it is obvious that they are not the same person. Thinking this way, she reached out and kicked away the sleeping man, wanting to confront him, but she didn't expect the chubby man to lie motionless. Oh my God, why is there blood all over his head? The bed sheet where the fat man's head is located has been stained red with blood, making it look shocking. Someone keeps pressuring Jiang Nuo, and someone calls the police. Jiang Nuo sat stunned on the bed, looking bewildered. Her gaze met the eyes of Lu Tingji at the door. Tingji. I don't have. When Jiang Nuo touched upon the undisguised disgust in Lu Tingji's eyes, she remained in place. She had never seen such an expression on Lu Tingji's face before. The police arrived at the scene at lightning speed. After a survey and inquiry, Jiang Nuo, as the suspect, was handcuffed by the police. After coming out, Jiang Nuo, who was restless, caught a glimpse of Lu Tingji. She was so excited that she rushed over, but was firmly held onto her shoulder by the police. "Tingji, I am wrongly accused. I was framed by someone. Believe me, Tingji, help me investigate thoroughly. Someone must have framed me behind the scenes, Tingji." In the crowd, Lu Tingji's face was as cold as frost. Feeling uneasy, Jiang Nuo stared at him with anticipation. Lu Tingji is her only hope. As her hopeful gaze gradually faded, the silent Lu Tingji spoke coldly, "Okay." After Jiang Nuo was taken away, she kept waiting for news from Lu Tingji, waiting for him to personally pick her up and go out. However, she waited and waited, but it was time for the court to announce the verdict. The defendant Jiang Nuo invited the victim to meet at a hotel on the evening of May 10, and then used a murder weapon to harm the victim, causing disability. He was charged with intentional injury, and this court declared the charges established, sentencing the party to 2 years imprisonment. On the defendant's bench, Jiang Nuo's face was filled with shock. "It's not like that," Lu Tingji said he would help her. "Where is Tingji? He won't leave himself behind." Jiang Nuo turned her head to look at the audience seat, her gaze fixed on the indifferent gaze of Lu Tingji. He held a woman in his arms. How could it be? Tingji has always disliked women getting close to him, not even himself. How could he hold other women now? Jiang Nuo's back stiffened, his eyes fixed on their direction. The woman seemed to notice her gaze, and she slowly looked up, with a familiar face piercing Jiang Nuo's almost unsteady stance. How could it be her? Jiang Nuo was shocked and lost his color. After the verdict came into effect, Jiang Nuo was taken to an interrogation room. "Sister, are you surprised to see me?" Jiang Tianwei smiled and hugged Lu Tingji's arm without hesitation in front of her. Jiang Nuo has something else she doesn't understand. No wonder every time Jiang Tianwei troubles her, Lu Tingji always makes her endure it. It turned out that he was heartbroken. Jiang Nuo's eyes were slightly red, and she struggled to hold back her tears. She hoarsely said, "When did it start?" "Of course it's been a long time," Jiang Tianwei felt proud. "You shut up, I didn't ask you." Jiang Nuo shouted loudly. Jiang Tianwei tugged at Lu Tingji's hand with grievances and said, "Brother Tingji, sister is cruel to me." Lu Tingji gently held Jiang Tianwei's hand. Afterwards, he looked at Jiang Nuo with a cold expression, his eyes showing an unprecedented coldness. "Jiang Nuo, who allowed you to be so ferocious and sweet? You are indeed a shameless counterfeit. Every moment I am with you, I feel disgusted." She only felt heartbroken to the point of being torn apart by someone, as if she was bleeding profusely. Jiang Nuo's face turned pale, her fingers clenched into fists, and she pounded the table with both hands. The prison guard behind her pressed her warning. "Since you think I'm disgusting, why are you getting engaged to me?" Lu Tingji patted the non-existent dust on his body and sneered, "For Tianwei, take back what belongs to her." "What does that mean?" Jiang Nuo was confused. "It's okay to tell my sister, it's just that the old man left so many shares to you and insisted that you get married before inheriting them." "Humph, the old man is really troublesome, but fortunately there is still a solution. After you go to prison, your shares can only belong to me. After all, the board of directors will not allow a labor reform offender to inherit the Jiang family." Jiang Tianwei was very satisfied with Jiang Nuo's expression at this moment, like a weak person on the brink of drowning and unable to get on the shore. Her mouth curved upwards and she burst into tears, saying, "Brother Ting, you won't feel heartbroken if you keep your sister safe. After all, she loves you so much that she loves you without any precautions. Drink the wine you prepared." The glass of wine that Lu Tingji handed her, is problematic. Jiang Nuo trembled all over, with tears in her eyes but stubbornly refusing to let it flow. Her favorite person, her fiancé who had been in love for 10 years, personally planned to send her to prison. Lu Tingji, you're so ruthless, so ruthless. Jiang Nuo gritted her teeth and clenched her fists until her veins erupted. Lu Tingji, I was really blind enough to fall in love with a despicable, selfish, narrow-minded, cold-blooded and cruel man like you. Chapter 2. Flash Marriage Certificate Collection. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Her madness was ignored by Lu Tingji. He hugged Jiang Tianwei with a smile and left. Jiang Tianwei secretly felt proud. Jiang Nuo, please enjoy your life in prison, preferably. Die inside. They calculated everything, but only the cunning of Master Jiang was exposed. To fully inherit the shares, there is an additional condition that requires Jiang Nuo's signature to take effect. Even though I am my grandfather's granddaughter, why did Jiang Nuo steal everything from me? Brother Ting, what should I do? Jiang Tianwei's tears welled up, so pitiful. With me around, she will sign. Lu Tingji was unusually firm. Lu Tingji came to the prison with documents, and he watched with his own eyes as Jiang Nuo, dressed in prison uniform, was being pressed towards him. 2 days without seeing her, she looked haggard and her eyes were dull. He happily curled the corners of his mouth. Signed it. Lu Tingji stands tall and towering. Jiang Nuo's eyes gradually turned slightly red as she flipped through the materials. Grandpa. Is this the last protection you left for me? But Grandpa, like your granddaughter, you have misread and trusted the wrong person. You have caused me so much trouble, do you still want me to sign? It's wishful thinking. Jiang Nuo glared angrily at Lu Tingji, his hatred in his eyes like a sharp blade. Lu Tingji remained calm as he propped his hands on the table and spoke in a faint tone, you have no choice. Unless you want to see Mr. Jiang's grave dug up. Animal. Jiang Nuo exclaimed in shock and excitement. Jiang Nuo, do you know my method of signing or not? Jiang Nuo, who was extremely angry, trembled all over. She looked at the man in front of her who had driven her to the brink of despair, and Jiang Nuo hated herself for being blind. I sign. After receiving the result, Lu Tingji left satisfied. Jiang Nuo stared at his back with crimson eyes. Lu Tingji, Jiang Tianwei, no matter what price you pay, I will make your life worse than death. After he left, a mysterious person appeared in prison. 1 year later. Jiang Nuo, who returned to Nancheng, received a text message. Weiwei Cafe, where is the person you want? Jiang Nuo replied with a simple word. Okay. After arriving at the destination, Jiang Nuo looked around the coffee shop, only to find a single man sitting in a window seat. The man was dressed simply, with a shirt paired with suit pants, and the shirt sleeves rolled up to the forearm position. The lines were smooth and beautiful, the figure was good, and his appearance was indescribable. This quality is also too good, it's not like working on a construction site. Jiang Nuo calmly looked at the man sitting opposite him. It is the scorching summer, and the outdoor atmosphere fluctuates greatly. Perhaps her gaze was too direct, and the man finally noticed her. Hello, I'm Jiang Nuo, I'm going on a blind date with you. Jiang Nuo sat opposite him. Blind date. The man looked at Jiang Nuo with interest, and the smile on his lips was somewhat ambiguous. Isn't this reaction quite right? Jiang Nuo nodded in confusion and said, aren't you a blind date? Shouldn't you be looking for the wrong person? Jiang Nuoxin was suspicious, and as she was about to speak, the man slowly said, hello, Miss Jiang, my name is Qin Shangyu. His voice was deep, and his gaze looked at her without hesitation. Jiang Nuo is a bit shy. What's wrong with this man? The first time we met, my gaze was too direct. Jiang Nuo and Qin Shangyu briefly talked about each other's situation. I need a nominal husband, and I hope Mr.Qin can cooperate with me at critical moments. Of course, after the matter is completed, I will not mistreat Mr.Qin. The expected reward is necessary. The most direct way is through inducement. Qin Shangyu said calmly, Miss Jiang's conditions are very good, and I have no objections, but I also hope that Miss Jiang can cooperate with me well. He needed a wife, and under Jiang Nuo's gaze, Qin Shangyu calmly said, when my family urged me to get married, I had to come out for a blind date. Unexpectedly, I could meet Miss Jiang as a suitable blind date. At this point, Qin Shangyu smiled slightly. Jiang Nuo thinks the person arranged by that person is too suitable, it's good to cover each other up. The two hit it off at once. Choosing a day is better than colliding with it. Let's go get the certificate together, Qin Shangyu suggested. Jiang Nuo was slightly taken aback and said, okay. She does need to obtain a certificate. After being released from prison, her grandfather's lawyer found her and found out that he had another explanation. If Jiang Nuo skips marriage inheritance and chooses to sign inheritance to represent that Jiang Nuo has already had an accident, then the signed inheritance agreement will be directly invalidated. Jiang Nuo was moved and heartbroken. Her grandfather paved everything for her and planned so many ways out. She absolutely cannot let Jiang fall into the hands of those two despicable people. A year ago, that person helped her clear her grievances and arranged everything for her to return to the southern city. She was grateful, but she never knew who he really was. Anyway, Jiang Nuo is very grateful to the other party. After coming out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Jiang Nuo refused the proposal for her newlywed husband to send her home. Jiang Nuo directly stopped a taxi and went to the law firm. Since I have obtained my marriage certificate, everything will be much more convenient next. It was already late at night when we returned to the Jiang family villa. The surface emits the heat of the day, making people feel stuffy. As soon as she entered the hall from the foyer, she heard a hospitable laugh. Nuo Nuo is back. Foster mother Zhuang Jingshu welcomed her and wanted to take her bag. Jiang Nuo looked at her adoptive mother's attentive behavior with suspicion, and she calmly avoided and sat down on the sofa. Zhuang Jingshu's expression was a bit stiff. After sitting down on the sofa, she kept winking at Jiang Hongxing beside her. The man's intestines were straight, and Jiang Hongxing came straight to the point. Jiang Nuo, your sister is about to graduate. Your mother and I thought about it. Otherwise, we can arrange for your sister to intern at a traditional Chinese medicine clinic. When you are not here, she can help you more privately. Jiang Nuo took a sip of the tea and his gaze passed coldly over the two of them. Daring to wait for her to come home so late is to arrange for their daughter to enter the traditional Chinese medicine clinic. The traditional Chinese medicine clinic is not only the hard work of my grandfather, but also the treasure he left for her. Internship, no problem. She pushed the teacup away. Zhuang Jingshu's face lit up with joy and she quickly said, then let her report tomorrow. Without further ado, Jiang Nuo stood up and was about to return to her room, but was stopped by Zhuang Jingshu. She hesitated and said, so. Nuo Nuo, when can you give your sister a share of the shares under your name? Jiang Nuo's footsteps paused, and a chill flashed in her eyes. What qualifications does she have to ask me for shares? Zhuang Jingshu felt inexplicably nervous when she saw Jiang Nuo's appearance, but she still held the attitude of an elder and explained with a smile, Nuo Nuo, you should know your identity. When you and Tian Wei were holding each other wrong, it was because your sister lived in the slum for 20 years. She suffered for you. Nuo Nuo, you should return everything to Tian Wei. Jiang Nuo's heart is sour. This is the mother she has been calling for 20 years. 3 years ago, after Jiang Tianwei came to the door with a paternity test, her world underwent earth-shattering changes. At that time, my grandfather was still there. Even though he knew he was not a descendant of the Jiang family, he continued to love her and there was no change in what was given to her in the will. You all know what Jiang Tianwei has done. If you want shares now, don't even think about it. Her attitude was resolute, and Zhuang Jingshu's face was not very good looking. She reached out and pushed Jiang Hongsheng. Tianwei has been suffering in her heart for these years. Her father apologizes for what she did. Jiang Nuo, you are not the real Jiang family. It's hard to say that you still want to occupy the things of the Jiang family. It's really a waste of raising you for so many years without any gratitude. Every time Zhuang Jingshu sees Jiang Nuo's face, she can't help but think of her biological daughter who has been suffering for so many years. Originally, it was Jiang Nuo who occupied Tianwei's position. Jiang Tianwei, standing beside her, secretly felt proud, with a glimmer of victory in her eyes. Chapter 3. First Date. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Jiang Nuo's expression remained calm as he looked at the dignified Jiang family couple, with a hint of sarcasm on his lips. It was my grandfather who raised me since I was young, not you. Neither of them was reliable, and when she was very young, they threw themselves at her grandfather. Her feelings for Jiang Hongsheng and his wife were quite complicated until she realized that she was not their child. If it weren't for Jiang Tianwei harming her behind the scenes, she would have returned all the things left by her grandfather to Jiang Tianwei after marriage. But they can't wait. I forgot to mention it. I went to the law firm today and have already notarized all the company's assets and shares. According to my grandfather's will, 30% of the company's shares are all under my name. What? Zhuang Jingshu's gentle persona almost couldn't hold her back, looking at Jiang Nuo incredulously. It's impossible. You have already signed the transfer to me, and the shares belong to me. How could the entire tribe be under your name? Jiang Tianwei ran down from downstairs at some point, muttering loudly. Oh, don't you know Grandpa has another explanation. Signing and transferring doesn't count. This is the complete will, a copy. After seeing the treaty clearly, their faces turned ugly. Damn the old man, everyone is dead, how could he show them away? After wandering around, I still need to get married and inherit in the end. Jiang Nuo took out a red notebook from her bag and casually threw her marriage certificate in front of everyone. Sorry, I'm married. This is impossible. She has such a bad reputation, anyone who dares to marry her must be something shameless. After returning to the room to wash up, Jiang Nuo opened her phone. When I saw the 3 words Qin Shangyu again, my fingers froze. The other party only has one short unread text message. Are you free tomorrow? Let's have a meal together. Jiang Nuo instinctively wanted to refuse, but hesitated when her gaze touched the touch of red on the bedside table. Send me the address. Thinking of the scene where the man posted these invitation contents, Jiang Nuo's mouth curved slightly invisibly. Qin Shangyu across from me hasn't slept yet, so I quickly returned to a location. Do you need me to pick you up? No need. Huishengtang Traditional Chinese Medicine Hall. After the weekly morning meeting ends, Jiang Nuo returned to the office and a phone rang in time. Miss Nuo, Qin Group has sent an invitation letter stating that they are interested in investing in our business in Beijing. The person on the opposite side passed on the corresponding document information to Jiang Nuo. His tone was full of admiration. Since Jiang Nuo returned to the Jiang family, she has been crazily acquiring individual shares. From the initial lack of cooperation among major shareholders to now becoming the second chair of the Jiang family company, her decision has received corresponding respect and support. It is enough to demonstrate Jiang Nuo's means and strength. Jiang Nuo was flipping through the documents, and the pen in her hand was repeatedly tapping on the table. Are they interested in investing in this project? Yes. Jiang Nuo looked at her watch with some distress and said, we have scheduled lunch. We'll be able to catch up around 11 o'clock when we depart. After hesitating, Jiang Nuo asked, let's postpone this dinner later. But the secretary is professional. She took out the pre-inquired itinerary of the Qin Group project manager, took a photo, and sent it to Jiang Nuo. This manager will fly back to Beijing immediately after dinner, if we push this time. The investor of this project may have gone bankrupt. This project is Jiang Nuo's first project after returning to the Jiang family. In order to open up the Beijing market, the key issue is the investment side. Besides, the Qin Group is a local leader in the North City. If you offend them, it may be troublesome to conduct business in Beijing in the future. Jiang Nuo furrowed her brows and looked at the chat page with Qin Shangyu on her phone. She bit her lower lip and finally said to her secretary, "Then let's move forward half an hour." It seems that she will be late for her first date with her newlywed husband. Qianjin Pavilion. Jiang Nuo sat at the dinner table. After meeting, the two sides first had a small conversation, and then slowly talked about the main matter while eating. The phone on the table shook. "I'm at the restaurant, waiting for you at the door to enter together," upon seeing Qin Shangyu already waiting for him at the restaurant. Jiang Nuo felt a bit anxious in her heart. After all, it's her first date and she doesn't want to be too late. She poured herself a glass of baijiu, and she smiled brightly. "Manager Zhou, I want to have a drink with you, and I wish you a smooth cooperation with Qin Group in the future." Manager Zhou naturally took Jiang Nuo's words and said, "That's right. Qin Group believes in the strength of your company, and a smooth cooperation is certain. I'll do it first as a gesture of respect." Jiang Nuo did not hesitate to drink a glass of baijiu with sincerity. Drinking alcohol, my grandfather trained her in various ways since childhood to cultivate him. Saying it's for taking over the company in the future, going out for socializing, laying a solid foundation, and avoiding losses. The people of the Qin Group couldn't stop them in time, and they were very impressed. The contract was also signed smoothly. The purpose of this dinner has been achieved. Jiang Nuo looked at the time a few more times and finally thought, "I'm really sorry, everyone. I have some things to deal with here, so let my secretary Shaoli treat you well." Shaoli quickly controlled the scene and successfully made Jiang Nuo escape and leave. When she arrived at the restaurant she had arranged with Qin Shangyu didn't know how long she had been waiting. She gritted her head and tried to explain something, but saw that the man's face showed no signs of anger. Instead, he looked at her with a pretty face and a faint smile. "Don't worry, I didn't wait long," she said. Jiang Nuo breathed a sigh of relief and smiled, "Sorry, I'm late." Then Jiang Nuo didn't notice that as she approached Qin Shangyu, the man's gaze swept over her lips imperceptibly, and his nose twitched. "She's drinking." Qin Shangyu. "Is there anything you want to eat?" Jiang Nuo took the menu and ordered a few randomly. Between waiting for the dishes, the two chatted haphazardly, and Jiang Nuo seemed a bit nervous, calling him Mr. Qin. Qin Shangyu set the table for her and said, "Call me Shangyu." Jiang Nuo was taken aback and heard him say, "We are husband and wife." Although it is nominal, it is actually on the same certificate. If two people shout one by one, it seems a bit strange. "Shangyu," she exclaimed, her face suddenly warming up. The man still smiled faintly, his slender fingers skillfully operating, using knives and forks to shell the seafood and put it on her plate. "Do you know about the flipping garden?" She smiled and nodded, "I only know the approximate location." Qin Shangyu took out a key and handed it to her. "I bought a suite over there as our wedding house, and this is the key." He spoke calmly, but Jiang Nuo was stunned. "Wedding room." Jiang Nuo was quite surprised and continued, "The house price in the tipping bucket garden is not low. As a migrant worker, he could buy a wedding house there, which his wife had already taken out." The man's gesture of holding the tableware froze, and then explained, "I have been working on the construction site for so many years, and my wife still has it. The only thing is that the house is a bit small, with 3 bedrooms and 1 living room." When it comes to this, Qin Shangyu's gaze has been fixed on her, as if a bit embarrassed, afraid that she won't like it. Chapter 4. Don't touch my wife. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Without waiting for Jiang Nuo to speak, Qin Shangyu continued, when I get rich in the future, let's buy another big house. And didn't we sign an independent property contract? Buying this house won't be a loss. So, you don't have to have a burden. There seems to be no problem with this explanation, but Jiang Nuo felt a bit guilty and let it go for a while. After all, besides being able to give him some pocket money every month, she is powerless to do anything else. However, since we are already married, as both spouses, it would be better to live together. The key was handed to Jiang Nuo, and her cheeks turned red. She didn't actually think so much at first, she just wanted to have a marriage certificate and hold on to the company's shares, retaliating against Lu Tingji and Jiang Tianwei. But she forgot that she now has an extra wife and is responsible for the man in front of her. Okay. She put away the key and tried to calm herself down to accept her new identity. Please give me more guidance in the future. Also, please give me more guidance, Nuo Nuo. The man's voice was deep and pleasant, with a mature and steady tone that made people feel at ease. Jiang Nuo felt as if her heart had been scratched, a bit itchy, and because she had just drunk, she felt even more light and ethereal. After the meal, Qin Shangyu went to the front desk to pay the bill, while Jiang Nuo went to the bathroom to make up for himself. But when she came out, she felt a gaze stick to her all the time. She stopped in her tracks, turned around to respond, and stiffened as she saw clearly the people behind her. Lu Tingji stood in the corner with a gloomy expression and said, Jiang Nuo, I didn't expect to meet you here. Since Jiang Nuo returned, she has not seen Lu Tingji in the southern city. Jiang Nuo didn't forget what happened a year ago, but the relationship for that decade was not fake. Jiang Nuo only felt heartbroken and regretful. Apart from constantly fighting with Lu Tingji in official matters, she did not want to have any more interaction with him. I never expected to meet Lu Tingji here. Move aside. She spoke coldly, but her voice trembled uncontrollably. Lu Tingji stood still, staring at her with an ambiguous expression, as if expecting her to be embarrassed. Jiang Nuo took a sniff and her expression returned to calm. Quickly, she wore a gentle and charming smile on her face, and her voice Microsoft said, It's so slow, let me wait for a long time. Lu Tingji looked at the smile and felt a bit dazed, as if he had seen the former Jiang Nuo, the woman who had been following him carefully to please and constantly being attentive. But Jiang Nuo smiled and brushed past him. She took another man's hand and muttered dissatisfaction, her coquettish tone as if she had treated him back then. Jiang Nuo. With a sullen expression on his face, he stopped the two of them and said, Can't you introduce me? Qin Shangyu was a bit strange about the time when he had to pay his bills. Why did Jiang Nuo suddenly become so sticky to him? Hearing Lu Tingji call out Jiang Nuo's name, then look at Jiang Nuo's face. It is evident that the relationship between these two people is not simple. The surrounding air suddenly solidified for a few minutes. Jiang Nuo turned around and tried to maintain a smile, It's none of your business. When she was framed and imprisoned, she still hasn't come to settle accounts with Lu Tingji. If it weren't for someone clarifying for her at the last moment, I'm afraid she would really be a prisoner through labor. Now in front of Lu Ting, Jiang Nuo couldn't give him a good face. Lu Tingji suddenly smiled and saw Jiang Nuo's prickly appearance all over his body, which piqued his interest. He glanced at Qin Shangyu and questioned, Just got out of prison and found a new partner. The words, release from prison, immediately angered Jiang Nuo. She instinctively didn't want to expose this experience in front of her rapidly married husband, so she grabbed Qin Shangyu's hand and walked out. He's a lunatic, don't bother with him, let's go. Lu Tingji refused to let her go and grabbed Jiang Nuo's hand to prevent her from leaving. At the moment he held it in his hand, he was caught by the other hand. At the same time, a taller figure covered the scene. Don't touch my wife. Qin Shangyu's expression was relaxed, and his strength increased as he forcefully broke open Lu Tingji's hand. Jiang Nuo's hand returned to Qin Shangyu's hand. She lowered her head and watched as the man gently kneaded the area where Lu Tingji had grabbed and turned red for her. She instinctively approached Qin Shangyu and was indeed protected by him behind her. "Madam. Jiang Nuo, I haven't said goodbye yet." From beginning to end, Lu Tingji believed that Jiang Nuo was still his fiancé AE. But which normal person would send their fiancé AE to prison? As Jiang Nuo said, he really looks like a madman. "Don't forget, it was you who insisted on me, you who begged for mercy in front of me, and you who entangled me." Jiang Nuo sneered, feeling nauseous at the thought of his wishful dedication to Lu Tingji. She disgusted and said, "Lu Tingji, you really don't have face." The entanglement between Qin Shangyu and the two of them had little to do with it. Jiang Nuo didn't want to drag him in, so she pulled back the man's hand and said, "Let's go." Qin Shangyu lowered his head and felt the soft touch. Seeing Jiang Nuo's fragile expression, his heart softened and he led her away. Lu Tingji stared at Jiang Nuo's departing figure, and in the dim light, he met the man beside her. The two of them had an equal aura, but when they saw the silent warning in Qin Shangyu's eyes, a hint of malice flashed in Lu Ting's eyes. In the car, Jiang Nuo sat in the passenger seat. With both hands fastened on their seat belts, they moved anxiously, their eyes fixed straight ahead, and Yu Guang couldn't help but sneak a glance at the driver's seat. Although she stated that her reputation in Nanjing was not good when we first met, she did not confess to Qin Shangyu about her almost imprisonment experience. Today's release really made Jiang Nuo feel a bit embarrassed. Qin Shangyu was not in a hurry to start the car. He adjusted the air conditioning inside the car and pretended to ask unintentionally, "X." From his perspective, he could just see Jiang Nuo's curly eyelashes, trembling and fluttering, very delicate and lovely. After hesitating for a moment, Meimo turned to look at him and said truthfully, "Yes. It's my ex-fiancée." After gritting her teeth and hesitating, she gritted her head and said, "Sorry, I didn't expect to meet you here." Jiang Nuo sighed and hesitated about how to explain Lu Tingji's identity and his relationship with Qin Shangyu. She hesitated to speak, unable to speak. The car started up, and the traffic outside the window kept flashing by. As the speed increased, it seemed to pull Jiang Nuo's conflicting consciousness out of the restaurant, making her slowly calm down. Finally, under the cold air in the carriage, Jiang Nuo said in a warm voice, "I almost went to jail, he framed me." The speed remained unchanged, and cold air with a hint of coldness rushed in from the collar, but it made Jiang Nuo feel restless for no reason. I don't know how long it took, but when the red light came on, the man steadily stopped and turned his head to look at her, framing. "Well, I was sentenced to 1 year at the time, but later I met someone who helped me, which saved me from imprisonment. No one else knew, they all thought I was just out of prison." Jiang Nuo was a bit afraid to look at him. The next second, a big palm came over and gently touched her head. She froze all over, turned her head to look at him in a daze, and heard him say, "I've wronged you." Did she sleep with Qin Shangyu in Chapter 5? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Apart from that, there is nothing else to say. The air conditioning was still running quietly, and the dryness in her heart was gradually dissipated. In the scorching summer, she was in his car, relaxed and comfortable. As the atmosphere eased, soft music played in the car. At this moment, Jiang Nuo noticed that Qin Shangyu was just an ordinary Audi on the outside, but the interior decoration was quite valuable. Just talking about this speaker, she recognizes it as a top-notch imported equipment from the Syak family in Russia. Is plastering on the construction site so profitable? The wedding room has been fully arranged. Have you moved recently? In a couple of days, she said as she didn't even pack her things and glanced at Qin Shangyu's aimless route. You can take me back to the traditional Chinese medicine clinic first. Are you going back now? The man glanced at her and asked with a relaxed expression. Jiang Nuo didn't recognize the meaning behind his words and nodded, pressing the navigation on her phone. My car is still there, she said. The man smiled helplessly at the corner of his mouth, and according to her navigation, he sent the person back to Huixing Hall. At the entrance of the underground parking lot, Jiang Nuo took her handbag and unbuttoned her seatbelt, saying, "Today's lunch was great. Thank you for taking me back. Be careful on the way." Although it's still daytime, the light in the underground parking lot is really dim. Plus it's still working hours now, except for the security guard at the entrance. The parking lot is quiet with no one around. Jiang Nuo took out the key from her bag, and just as she lowered her head to put it away, she saw a shadow behind her. The speed of the shadow followed her fast and fast. She was slow and slow, sneaky, obviously running towards her. There is no one else in the parking lot, and the figure of the shadow is a man. She was completely unsure of escaping, so she could only walk slowly, her hand quickly sliding the phone screen in her bag. That shadow followed her all the way to the side of the car. She pressed the car unlock button, and with a click, a hand holding a towel reached out from behind, covering her mouth. Although Jiang Nuo had been on guard for a long time, the man's strength also made Jiang Nuo feel numb. She stabbed the tip of the key in her hand into the eyes of the people behind her, struggling to escape. Turning around, he kicked the man fiercely again, but the other person reacted extremely quickly and avoided the kick. "Who are you?" she asked sternly, looking towards the entrance of the parking lot, hoping to attract the attention of the security guard. Without waiting for her to shout out, she felt numb all over, and then she lost her strength and shook herself, unable to stand. "There is a drug on the towel." The man knew that the medicine was working when he saw her like this. He grabbed her hand and didn't let her struggle. He smiled bitterly and said, "Miss Jiang, just follow me obediently." Jiang Nuo supported her head and watched as the man in front of her was split into 2 or 3 illusions. She worked hard to keep herself awake. This person knows her identity, but she doesn't even know him. It is possible that it was hired by an enemy. She supported the car body and stabilized herself, saying, "How much does the other party give you?" "I'll give you 10 times. The man hesitated for a few seconds before picking up a towel and continuing to cover Jiang Nuo's mouth and nose, causing her to completely fall into a coma. "Are I still afraid of lacking money after taking you?" The man dragged away Jiang Nuo. Jiang family. Jiang Tianwei, who returned from the traditional Chinese medicine clinic, is complaining of grievances. "Jiang Nuo is retaliating against me. She really asked me to do cleaning at a traditional Chinese medicine clinic. As a highly talented student at my prestigious University of Traditional Chinese Medicine, she is insulting me. Mom, I won't go anymore. She was inside today and received a cold eye. My beloved daughter cried until her heart ached." Zhuang Jingshu grabbed her hand and comforted her softly, "Sweet Wei, endure. The old man is a famous figure in the field of traditional Chinese medicine, and Jiang Nuo learned a lot of medical skills from him. These should have belonged to Tianwei, but now Jiang Nuo has taken over the nest." Jiang Hongsheng, who had been silent all along, finally spoke up, "Next week is Shen Lao's birthday banquet. We will take Tianwei over to pay respects. If Tianwei can be appreciated by Shen Lao and become his disciple, her reputation and status in the field of traditional Chinese medicine are just around the corner. Your dad is right, behave well that day." Under the comfort of her parents, Jiang Tianwei burst into tears and smiled, her eyes flashing with deep malice. Jiang Nuo is only worthy of being stepped on by her feet. No night in the imperial court, supreme VIP room. A person trembled and knelt down, banging their heads against the floor tiles, saying, "Please spare my life. I was wrong, I was wrong." Qin Shangyu casually shook his wine glass, and his subordinate with a figure stepped forward and kicked the man begging for mercy, saying, "Keep talking. I said. The order we received was to create an accident and depose Qin Shao. Qin Shangyu captured the key points. The kneeling man hesitated and said, he. He and my soldiers split into two paths, one following Qin Shao and the other following. Qin Shao is the woman next to him. Qin Shangyu suddenly stood up, his gaze glaring fiercely at the kneeling man, and he left with a gust of wind under his feet. Immediately call out everyone. A abandoned building in a certain area. Jiang Nuo bit her lips in agony, and a familiar sense of dryness and heat once again struck, a vicious person. Who is the person who kidnapped her? Or who is the person behind it? Jiang Tianwei. Lu Tingji. The familiar heat aroused her strong hatred. Jiang Nuo's red lips spit out blood, and she briefly regained consciousness. However, her fierce desire to get up was once again overwhelming, and her hair was wet and sticky to her face, lying on the ground in a state of embarrassment. In a daze, I seemed to see Qin Shangyu. Jiang Nuo. Nuo Nuo, Nuo Nuo. What a familiar voice. Jiang Nuo, who was already uncontrollable, wriggled restlessly in his arms. Qin Shangyu carried Jiang Nuo back to the flipping bucket garden. The woman in her arms had rosy cheeks, her body was scorching hot, and there were occasional hormonal sounds coming from her mouth. Be calm. Qin Shangyu has a hoarse voice. She tugged at Qin Shangyu's clothes, searching for the coolness. Her face was rosy and alluring. Until she felt a pain in her waist. Jiang Nuo gradually regained her sanity. She looked at the man in front of her and was startled, but she didn't have any extra strength. She pinched her thighs and hoarsely said, "Silver needle." Subsequently, Qin Shangyu took out a silver needle and handed it to Jiang Nuo, witnessing Jiang Nuo administering the needle to alleviate the symptoms. At that time, Jiang Nuo's sweat soaked his clothes. My eyes gradually cleared up. Jiang Nuo lay weakly on the bed, and Qin Shangyu beside him whispered, "Take a good rest." Jiang Nuo closed her eyes in a daze. She's fine, but he's feeling uncomfortable all over. The next day, morning light came into the room through the French window. Jiang Nuo on the bed opened her tired eyes. She wanted to raise her hand and rub the center of her eyebrows, only to realize that she was powerless to lift her wrist. What's wrong with her? Jiang Nuo's head was drowsy and heavy. Wake up. The man's magnetic low voice rang in his ear. Jiang Nuo's face turned pale with fear. She glanced sideways and saw the man with his upper body bare, muscular and strong, full of wild beauty. Jiang Nuo's lips trembled as a reality popped out of her mind. She and Qin Shangyu haven't slept yet. Chapter 6. Saving the Lu family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Suddenly, the events of last night crawled into my mind. She almost knocked down Qin Shangyu. Jiang Nuo immediately closed her eyes and pretended to be dead. Embarrassed like her, wishing to crawl into the cracks of the ground. She got married to Qin Shangyu through an agreement, and yesterday she was very impolite. Jiang Nuo, who was huddled under the blanket, slowly pulled over the blanket and covered her face. "Miss Jiang, are you planning to eat dry and wipe clean without admitting it?" Qin Shangyu, who was standing beside her, casually poked through her disguise. Jiang Nuo stared at his deep and smiling eyes, her body temperature rising and her face turning red like an apple. She propped up Qin Shangyu's hard chest, feeling extremely embarrassed and angry. "I didn't eat, get up." "I don't think so." "You. Don't be too rascal." Qin Shangyu now is different from the usual Qin Shangyu. Is he a big man too embarrassed to play a rascal? Jiang Nuo is about to explode her hair, and Qin Shangyu is dressed with wide shoulders, narrow waist, and long legs. His figure is extremely attractive. Fortunately, at the last moment, she soberly administered the needle. Qin Shangyu turned to look at Jiang Nuo, who was pretending to be dead on the bed. He slightly raised the corner of his mouth and then walked out of the bedroom. After she left, Jiang Nuo picked up the clothes on the ground and ran towards the bathroom. After she came out, Qin Shangyu prepared breakfast. But the person has already gone to work, and there is still a message he sent on WeChat. I'll make do with breakfast today. I'll make it when I get home at noon. Do it. What are you doing? I don't know what came to mind, but Jiang Nuo was so ashamed and angry that she scolded him for being a scoundrel. Not replying to the message. Is it because Nuo Nuo has a crooked idea? Jiang Nuo was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Shameless. Subsequently, Jiang Nuo's phone was thrown onto the dining table, and she quickly finished breakfast before heading to the traditional Chinese medicine clinic. After looking around, she saw Jiang Tianwei in the consultation room scrolling through videos. Jiang Nuo snatched her phone and said coldly, "If you don't want to do it, get out immediately. Brother Ting already knows what you've done to me, and he won't let you go." Jiang Nuo likes Lu Tingji, but she wants to use Lu Tingji to stimulate Jiang Nuo. Jiang Tianwei raised her proud head and said, "Jiang Nuo, don't be fearless in your struggle. There's no difference between a year ago and a year later. The person Brother Ting likes is me." Jiang Nuo sneered and said, "I like you, why don't I marry you? It's been a year, and now you can't even enter the Lu family. You're really useless." When she poked at the most painful part of her heart, Jiang Tianwei's beautiful face twisted with hatred. "Teacher Jiang. There is an urgent patient, hurry up." Jiang Nuo rushed out the door and saw a middle-aged man with a red and painful face and rapid breathing outside the main entrance of the Huixing Hall. "Do you really know how to treat diseases? If anything happens to my husband, don't try to establish your small traditional Chinese medicine clinic in Nanchang." The middle-aged woman sternly threatened. After touching his pulse, Jiang Nuo immediately applied acupuncture and moxibustion on the hand of the middle-aged man. She ignored the middle-aged woman and told the assistant to slap the man's arm. "It's best to have a bleeding shot." "Okay, teacher." The sound of slapping echoed in the lobby, and their actions startled the middle-aged man. She stepped forward and pushed away her assistant, shouting angrily, "Are you saving or abusing someone? If you don't know how to treat the disease, hurry up and get out of here. Any traditional Chinese medicine clinic is just a group of scammers." The middle-aged woman cursed, but Jiang Nuo didn't lift her head. "The patient has a generation pulse, which is very dangerous. It's best for the patient to receive timely treatment, otherwise it will endanger their life. Is it so exaggerated? I don't think I'm trying to make some unscrupulous money." "You shut up, the doctor is absolutely right. The doctor has reminded me many times, but I didn't take it seriously. Fortunately, I met the doctor today to save my life." The middle-aged man was very grateful. The couple dressed exquisitely, had an extraordinary demeanor, and their identities were not necessarily simple. Jiang Nuo smiled nonchalantly and said, "Saving lives and helping the wounded is the responsibility of a doctor." The middle-aged man appreciated it greatly. "Aunt Lu. Uncle Qi, when did you come back? Brother Ting really didn't tell me. If I had known aunt and uncle would have come back, I should have personally picked you up." Jiang Tianwei, who came out of the traditional Chinese medicine clinic, approached with a surprised expression and held on to Lu Yu. "It's all small things, Tianwei. Why are you here?" Lu Yu's gaze scanned the two of them, and Jiang Tianwei felt ecstatic. This was a good opportunity to step on Jiang Nuo. "This is my sister Jiang Nuo. I'm here to intern and help her." Sure enough, the originally enthusiastic couple's expressions gradually faded. Lu Yu was the most obvious, her eyes were not kind, and her tone was sarcastic. "Fake goods are fake goods, mountain chickens cannot become real phoenixes. Sweet Wei, you are the fiancé of Tingji. If you want to go for an internship, you can choose from the Lu family of the Jiang family. Why work here as a labor reform prisoner? Be careful that some people are drunk and not drunk. Keep an eye on your Tingji." "Humph, no one in the Lu family likes Jiang Nuo. Brother Tingji is also hers. Jiang Tianwei secretly felt proud, waiting for Jiang Nuo to feel ashamed and emotionally break down. They turned out to be the Lu family, and Jiang Nuo never forgot that she was framed by Lu Tingji and Jiang Nuo. The Lu family put in a lot of effort behind the scenes. What is Lu Tingji? A familiar voice came and Qin Shangyu strode over, naturally hugging Jiang Nuo's shoulder and looking at the three people in front of him with a smile on his face. Tingji is not something, he. Lu Yu suddenly stopped talking and glared angrily at Qin Shangyu, who had a deep smile. Sister, aren't you married? Now you're flirting with another man. Even if brother Ting doesn't like you, you shouldn't fall for yourself. Damn bitch, where did you go to flirt with a top-notch man? Humph, what's the use of being good-looking? I'm not a poor person, not a single one is worth anything. Is Lu Tingji a toilet? Everyone needs him. Jiang Nuo chuckled. Realizing that Qin Shangyu was cursing others, Lu Yu and Jiang Tianwei gritted their teeth. Insulting Lu Tingji was insulting them. Sister, are you just allowing him to humiliate Ting's brother like this? Jiang Tianwei maintained an aggrieved expression and accused Qin Shangyu. He was by his side, and Jiang Nuo felt inexplicably reassured. His fingers clenched and his gaze met. Jiang Nuo's mouth curved upwards and she said, "My person, I am willing to spoil you. Let's go." She led Qin Shangyu away, ignoring the three people behind her. Until the turn, Jiang Nuo immediately broke free, but was firmly held by Qin Shangyu again. Qin Shangyu slightly bent down, bringing them closer together. Miss Jiang is preparing to cross the river and demolish the bridge. His voice was so pleasant that she felt numb all over her body. Jiang Nuo remained calm and composed. She stepped back slightly and lowered her head, saying, "Thank you for today's matter. Don't you dare to look at me." Qin Shangyu tugged hard, and Jiang Nuo bumped into his chest. With a sudden move, Jiang Nuo looked up at him in embarrassment and said, "Qin Shangyu, this is on the street. Please pay attention to your manners." "Okay, let's go back and chat slowly." So, the two of them drove home, and Jiang Nuo watched as he was carrying large and small bags of vegetable seasoning in his hand, with a bag of flour on his shoulder. No matter how it looks, it doesn't conform to this face. As far as I know, the construction site has a very late start time, but you started working underground quite early. Jiang Nuo casually asked while playing with the refrigerator, but it made Qin Shangyu stiff all over. Chapter 7, Didn't you just say that your mother passed away? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin Shangyu, who was brewing tea, calmly said, "I have been an old hand for many years and can quickly apply plaster. I am different from lifting steel bars when I apply plaster. I finish it early and leave early." Fortunately, he has a wide range of knowledge. Qin Shangyu poured tea and placed it on the table. Jiang Nuo let out a faint sigh and then sat on the chair sipping the tea. The taste was surprisingly delicious, something she had never tasted before. Jiang Nuo glanced curiously at the teapot. "What kind of tea are you? It tastes good." The hand holding the cup tightened slightly and said, "Ordinary pu'er tea, bought in the supermarket." "Is this the taste of pu'er? Why doesn't it look like it?" She took another sip, feeling a bit different. The taste was excellent. Jiang Nuo liked this tea, but hesitated for a moment before asking, "Can you help me buy a few more bags? She wants to buy some for the teacher and should visit her former mentor." Qin Shangyu's heart moved. The tea was left right, and that person finally did a good thing. "No problem." Qin Shangyu readily responded. He sat next to Jiang Nuo, with a slightly sunken position. Jiang Nuo couldn't help but slide towards Qin Shangyu, their thighs tightly pressed against each other, feeling their warmth. She quickly moved to the side, and Qin Shangyu felt a little happy in her heart. It was a very happy thing to tease her. Little girl, she doesn't like to get close to him very much. Jiang Nuo, we can get to know each other in a different way, such as gradually getting to know each other. He believed Jiang Nuo knew what this meant. In front of Qin Shangyu, Jiang Nuo was timid and afraid of encountering non-human beings again. He is considerate and steady, and is extremely gentle with her. Qin Shangyu, Jiang Nuo is very messy, she doesn't know how to get along with Qin Shangyu. Jiang Nuo awkwardly grabbed her knee, revealing her extreme inner unease. Qin Shangyu's eyes narrowed slightly, and his broad palm covered the back of her hand. We have plenty of time to spend together, take it slow, he said, thank you. For a moment, there was another wave of silence. In order to alleviate embarrassment and enhance mutual understanding, Jiang Nuo took the initiative to talk about some past events. Qin Shangyu needs to know sooner or later, but this time she was very detailed. Jiang Nuo felt disappointed and said, I don't know if my biological parents are still alive, maybe they are not alive long ago. She had no relatives, no family, only she was alone. Qin Shangyu hugged her with heartache and comforted her. It's okay, actually my parents. What should I say? Did your parents also pass away? It's okay, I will live with you well in the future, and we can be each other's families. Jiang Nuo said to herself, but in fact, Qin Shangyu was just thinking about how to introduce his parents. Now that there is such a misunderstanding, Qin Shangyu nodded dryly. Jiang Nuo looked at Qin Shangyu with heartache, realizing that they were all pitiful people. It was fate that they could become husband and wife. Dong dong dong. I'll go open the door. Qin Shangyu got up and walked towards the entrance. As soon as he opened the car door, Qin Shangyu slammed the door shut, and there were knocking sounds outside. Jiang Nuo in the living room was puzzled, so he said, what's wrong? It's okay. At this point, he had no choice but to open the door. Qin Shangyu secretly cheered and opened the door, his smile stiff. The woman in sunglasses in front of him took the initiative to hug Qin Shangyu and said with a smile, Xiaoyu, have you missed me? Qin Shangyu pushed her away and lowered her voice, why did you come? Oh, of course I miss you. I heard you moved into a new house. Let me see how your new house looks. The woman walked inside as she spoke. After entering, she looked around in surprise and said, this is too small, isn't it? What the hell are you guys doing? She. You. Jiang Nuo, who came out of the kitchen, stood still. Qin Shangyu, is she your darling hidden in a golden house? Mom, no. Mom. Didn't you just say your mom passed away? Jiang Nuo looked at the two of them in confusion. Lin Rui, dressed in fashion, stared incredulously at Qin Shangyu, her eyes seeming to say, what the hell are you, you stinky kid? She looked heartbroken. Qin Shangyu quickly blinked his eyes and coughed, Nuo Nuo, this is my godmother. She knew I was married and came over to take a look, right, godmother? Lin Rui sat on the sofa, with a smile on her face but not on her face. She nodded and said, yes, my godson. I didn't tell my godmother about such a big wedding. You're really a good child. Stinky kid, wait for me. The most important thing now is the daughter.In. Law. Lin Rui waved with a smile, and Jiang Nuo walked over to sit next to her. Lin Rui is very beautiful. Although she is in her 40s, she is well maintained. Standing with Qin Shangyu, she looks very much like his sister. She warmly held Jiang Nuo's hand and looked at her affectionately, her mouth full of praise. The little girl looks really good, my son. My godson deserves you. If he bullies you in the future, just tell his godmother and she will take care of him for you. Jiang Nuo glanced at Qin Shangyu and quickly averted her gaze. She met Lin Rui's gaze and smiled gently, Shangyu treats me very well. Okay. It's so good, why don't you buy a gold bracelet, gold necklace, or gold ring for your daughter.In. Law? You really don't understand anything, stinky kid. Lin Ruoyi took a glance at him. What's wrong with marrying a wife without a token? It's hard for the little girl to take a liking to him. Qin Shangyu awkwardly looked at the ceiling. No. I don't want it. It's not easy for Shangyu to do plastering on the construction site. All he does is physical labor, and these things are external things that are optional. We just need to live our own lives well, and everything else doesn't matter. At this point, Jiang Nuo did not make any demands. Before marriage, she made an agreement with Qin Shangyu not to interfere with each other's finances, so there was no need to pay any financial expenses to each other. Little did they know that Lin Ruoyi let out another exclamation of surprise, her voice a bit loud. Construction site. Plastering. Yeah, godmother, I'm making a lot of money from plastering on the construction site now. I'll have a good life with Nuo Nuo sooner or later, so godmother doesn't have to worry. Qin Shangyu stepped forward and poured a cup of tea. This handsome face had a well-behaved smile on it. If it weren't for what she had seen with her own eyes, Lin Ruoyi would never have believed that the person in front of her was that generous person. She couldn't understand what tricks Qin Shangyu was playing. The only thing that is certain is that the little girl in front of her is her daughter.In.Law. Nuo Nuo, this bracelet was given to you by the godmother. The godmother came in a hurry and didn't bring anything good, so please take the bracelet well. Lin Ruoyi personally put it on for her, not allowing Jiang Nuo to take it off. The bracelet looked like a valuable item, and the beautiful woman in front of her looked at her with a gentle and kind expression. Jiang Nuo smiled slightly unnaturally. I really can't accept it. Jiang Nuo looked at Qin Shangyu in embarrassment. Take it, godmother. Qin Shangyu's gaze affirmed. Thank you, godmother. You're so good. Lin Ruoyi liked Jiang Nuo more and more as she looked at her, her eyes burning to the point where Jiang Nuo felt a little embarrassed. Chapter 8. Sister-in-law kills her heart. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's getting late, there's still something to do at home. I'll go back first and come see you again another day. Lin Ruoyi got up and left, and Jiang Nuo asked Qin Shangyu to escort him. In the community. Lin Ruoyi looked at Qin Shangyu and said bluntly, Stinky kid, what's in your heart? Seriously. Play. Mom, am I so unreliable? It's not a matter of being unreliable, Xiaoyu. I see that girl is a good person, leaving a line in her work for later convenience. Lin Ruoyi said it all. As his mother, it's necessary to remind him. So as not to cry too late in the future. Qin Shangyu's eyes were deep and gentle when he thought of Jiang Nuo upstairs. Looking at his worthless appearance, Lin Ruoyi rolled her eyes and waved her hand before leaving on her own. Upstairs. Jiang Nuo stared at the bracelet on his wrist until Qin Shangyu returned. When he saw Jiang Nuo looking at him in the living room, Qin Shangyu felt uneasy. Did you reveal any flaws? Shangyu, your godmother looks so wealthy. This bracelet is at least over 1,000,000 yuan. Do your relatives have such wealth? I don't have many relatives, I'm just a wealthy godmother. Nuo Nuo, I'll go cook. Qin Shangyu took the opportunity to go to the kitchen. Today is really full of ups and downs, I hope Jiang Nuo doesn't have any doubts. Quickly, Qin Shangyu prepared 3 dishes and 1 soup, which sold well. Delicious, the taste is comparable to that of a 5-star chef. A most common dish of chili fried meat, she can flaunt several bowls of rice crazily. Jiang Nuo had a smile in her eyes and eyebrows. Qin Shangyu was in a good mood and served her a lot of dishes, warning her, eat more. Look at her skinny, how do those useless people from the Jiang family raise people? A hint of coldness flashed in Qin Shangyu's eyes. After drinking and eating, Jiang Nuo received a phone call and left. As soon as she left, Qin Shangyu received a document that recorded everything about Jiang Nuo. The coldness between Qin Shangyu's eyebrows and eyes grew deeper. Jiang family, Lu family. Lu Tingji, just an illegitimate child, doesn't deserve to be liked by Jiang Nuo. Buzzing, Qin Shangyu answered the phone with an unprecedented tone of indifference. Find some trouble for Lu Tingji. Later, he hung up the phone, got up, walked to the window, and looked at Jiang Nuo as he walked away. After arriving at the hotel, she headed straight to the private room. Standing outside, Jiang Nuo gathered her courage and was about to knock on the door. With a loud bang, the door opened from inside, and Zhuang Jingshu smiled happily. Nuo Nuo is here, come in quickly. After Jiang Nuo entered, she saw not only Jiang Hongxing inside, but also a middle-aged man with a big belly. After she entered the door, a pair of restless eyes swirled around her. Jiang Nuo, come and meet this person. This is Lin Jiping, Vice President of the Chinese Medicine Association. If you want to join the association, you still need the help of Vice President Lin. Jiang Hongxing warmly introduced. Zhuang Jingshu beside her warmly pulled her. Lin Jiping looked at Jiang Nuo with a stunning, greedy, and lascivious expression in his eyes. Mr. Zhang's daughter, with a national beauty and heavenly fragrance. His praise won the hearts of Jiang Hongxing and his wife, and they finally made the right move. Thank you very much. You are both talents in traditional Chinese medicine, and we can't help much here. Vice President Lin, Jiang Nuo will leave it to you. Jiang Hongxing stood up and left with Zhuang Jingshu, walking quite quickly. As the door slammed shut, Lin Jiping leaned forward with a glass of wine and said, Miss Jiang. It smells so good. With a lewd smile on her chubby face and a nauseating expression, Jiang Nuo sat upright playing with her teacup and casually said, didn't they tell you? What? Lin Jiping casually picked up her conversation. A pair of mung bean-sized eyeballs sticking to her body. Suddenly, Jiang Nuo in front of him burst into a smile. Lin Jiping was so amazed that even the saliva was about to flow out. Ah! After the screams came, the door of the private room slammed open from outside, and Qin Shangyu, with a cold expression, appeared here. Jiang Nuo was shocked. He was followed by 5 workers, holding shovel, stick, steel bar. Are you injured? Qin Shangyu approached to inspect Jiang Nuo, giving a false alarm. The heart that Qin Shangyu was carrying finally let go. His stern gaze glared at the frightened chubby man on the ground, and a ferocity gathered from his eyes. Lin Jiping kept talking and moving, his eyes filled with fear. Jiang Nuoyang took out a silver needle and smiled brightly, saying, I can't handle even a silver needle, and it's also suitable for the position of vice president, a wine bag in a rice bag. She straightened her waist and poked his heart with a smile. Didn't the Jiang family tell you? I haven't had an injection for a long time, but I'm not sure if I might accidentally prick you to death. Hey, do you feel numb now? Don't worry, it won't prick anyone. At most, it's paralysis or hemiplegia. There's no problem. Her careless words frightened Lin Jiping and made him tremble all over. Let's go. Qin Shangyu nodded, and before leaving, he glanced at Lin Jiping, who was in great fear behind him, with a stern and cold gaze. When passing by the workers, Jiang Nuo looked at them again. As they walked away, one of the people said, Hey, I'm a big and young Zhao family, and I have to dress up as a migrant worker. Is you go playing role-playing? Stupid, brother Yu is chasing his wife. Is that the little daughter.In.Law hidden by brother Yu? Beast, my sister.In.Law looks so small. Not to mention, our sister.In.Law has a murderous heart, just like our brother Yu with a black belly. What will he do? Taking inspiration from my sister.In.Law, the toad wants to eat swan meat, something. One of them stepped forward and kicked him hard. Qin Shangyu pinched her shoulder with a serious expression. Jiang Nuo, you know the Jiang family is not well-intentioned and shouldn't go to the appointment alone. If not, are you worried about me? You are my wife, so it's natural to worry about you, Qin Shangyu admitted candidly, and Jiang Nuo's heart trembled. She gazed at the face of Qin Shangyu. Perhaps she had been staring at Qin Shangyu for a long time, and his tense expression gradually softened. He sighed silently, "What are you looking at?" "Hello, look." She blurted out. Qin Shangyu chuckled softly, and Jiang Nuo's face turned slightly red as she regained her senses. No amount of words can match Jiang Nuo's praise. Qin Shangyu tugged hard, tightly holding Jiang Nuo. The beautiful woman in his arms instantly turned red, and she struggled in embarrassment. "Don't move, just hug for a while," Qin Shangyu said in a gentle voice. Jiang Nuo is not struggling. There is a strange feeling. On the way home, Jiang Nuo finally realized and began to question the workers. They are my friends on the construction site, helping each other and having a good relationship. Qin Shangyu, who is driving, has already figured out a reason. Before coming, I specifically borrowed the workers' clothes and props. He admitted to not showing any flaws, a perfect disguise. No, I don't think they look like workers, Jiang Nuo thought for a moment and asked a question. In Chapter 9, there will always be. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Qin Shangyu's heart pounded. He tightened his grip on the steering wheel and calmly said, "Where doesn't it look like? From dressing up to props, everything is done by workers. Before coming, they deliberately stained their clothes with a lot of mud and ash, which is in line with their profession. Not like in appearance, not like in temperament, I haven't seen such a handsome worker before. The most important thing is in temperament, a very abrupt contrast." Qin Shangyu's mouth twitched. "Your husband, am I not handsome? Also handsome?" Jiang Nuo hesitated for a moment, then nodded with a smile. How could he feel that he was being jealous of his friend? Qin Shangyu's visible mood was good. Jiang Nuo was infected by him, and her mood gradually became clearer. She curiously looked at the items in the car, as if there were many more things, including car decorations. It was a cute orange cat, as if it was a Russian brand. These are imported goods, right? And these? Shangyu, do you make money by doing plastering? These are all fake, I bought a high imitation in Pinxi Shi, produced in Iwu. Qin Shangyu calmly fabricated. That's quite realistic. Jiang Nuo touched Little Orange Cat. Original object Little Orange Cat, starting with 1 million. If Qin Shangyu were so wealthy, he wouldn't go to the construction site every day to plaster. Jiang Nuo noticed that he was covered in a lot of dust, and his clothes were probably going to be scrapped. Even if it is washed, it cannot be washed clean. She didn't see too many clothes on Qin Shangyu at home either. As a wife, we should take him to buy some clothes. Go buy something, Jiang Nuo suddenly said. Okay. Qin Shangyu thought she wanted to go shopping, so she could buy it for her wife. Under Jiang Nuo's command, the two of them went to the largest wholesale market in Nancheng. People come and go here, it's extremely lively. Qin Shangyu is in a daze, surrounded by shops selling a variety of things, with everything available. Nancheng, is there another place like this? Boss, big shorts, pants. These, and these. 10 pieces each. Jiang Nuo carefully selected, while Qin Shangyu held her with a bewildered expression. After the procurement was completed, Jiang Nuo left with Qin Shangyu satisfied. Buying so much for only 500 yuan is very cost-effective, and you will have many replacement clothes in the future. You don't have to wear the same one every day. Qin Shangyu understood the implied meaning behind her words. He didn't just have a few pieces, but in order to save trouble, his clothes were almost all the same style and color, and he was misunderstood by his wife for not having clothes to wear. Qin Shangyu is very depressed. Shouldn't she misunderstand that she doesn't pay attention to hygiene? He looked at Jiang Nuo bargaining in the toiletries store, and Qin Shangyu felt a little uneasy. Jiang Nuo, carrying toiletries, waved and said, "Let's go, the procurement is over." Buying so much at once, saving money and practical, it's quite good, but the expression on Qin Shangyu doesn't seem to look good. Is it because you find yourself spending too much money? Jiang Nuo explained, "Shangyu, the 1,000 flowers I spent today are mine." Qin Shangyu's expression was completely cracked. I don't know what came to his mind, but he quietly stared at Jiang Nuo, his eyes shining with fire. "Why are you angry again?" Jiang Nuo couldn't figure it out. Along the way, Qin Shangyu tightened her lips, didn't say a word, the atmosphere was oppressive, and Jiang Nuo didn't speak. Looking back on the way, she really didn't say anything excessive. Men's hearts, underwater needles. After arriving home, Qin Shangyu put down his things and headed straight to the bedroom, while Jiang Nuo was unpacking alone in the living room. Qin Shangyu walked out of the bedroom with a straight face and then placed a card in front of her. "Jiang Nuo, this is my salary card. My savings and salary are both in it. You can buy whatever you want. I can afford a wife on Qin Shangyu and don't need to spend women's money." Jiang Nuo was surprised to find out why Qin Shangyu was angry because of the 1,000 yuan incident. Without waiting for Jiang Nuo to speak, Qin Shangyu continued, "I know the prenuptial agreement. The agreement is an agreement, and I am myself. These are all voluntary. Take them, mother." Cough cough. "Mom." Qin Shangyu raised his eyebrows slightly and joked, "There will always be inside sooner or later." After Jiang Nuo realized it, she completely blushed. She glared angrily at Qin Shangyu and got up to go to the kitchen. Qin Shangyu in the living room laughed silently. "Not funny." The phone shook for a moment, and Qin Shangyu saw the photos sent in the group. He typed a line of words expressionlessly. Sitting on the sofa, Qin Shangyu enjoys the present day very much. In the evening, Qin Shangyu took a good bath in the bathroom. Jiang Nuo in the bedroom was lying in bed flipping through medical books, with white curtains swaying slightly in the wind. As Qin Shangyu wiped her hair, she saw Jiang Nuo wearing a solid-colored nightgown, which could only cover her buttocks in length. Her slender and straight legs were exposed before her eyes, and the white nightgown accentuated her skin as if it were frozen fat. He felt a surge of hot blood surging inside his body, and his Adam's apple rolled uncontrollably. He took a deep breath, suppressing the restlessness of his body. Upon hearing the sound, Jiang Nuo saw Qin Shangyu approaching, with a robust physique and perfect abdominal muscles. Her whole body was full of treasures. She quickly looked elsewhere, but her chin was pinched by Qin Shangyu. A warm breath sprayed onto her face, and strong hormones swayed before her eyes. "Why don't you look at me?" "Nuo Nuo." The last two words are tender and tender. "Well, it's getting late, go to bed." She didn't want to have anything to do with Qin Shangyu. The two of them got married through an agreement, as Jiang Nuo knew very well. Suddenly, the man released her, and Qin Shangyu frowned. "If you don't want me to sleep, don't seduce me. I'm not a saint." His gaze fell on her again, looking down from top to bottom. Jiang Nuo suddenly realized and immediately pulled over the blanket to cover it. Damn it, when did she seduce him? This is her most ordinary nightgown. Jiang Nuo lay down on her side and stopped reading. She turned off the bedside light and prepared to sleep until the bed beside her sank slightly. After all the indoor lights were turned off, her senses became clearer. Jiang Nuo curled up by the bed, not daring to move. Unconsciously, she fell asleep. Qin Shangyu hugged her and sighed slightly. The next day when she woke up, Qin Shangyu had already gone to work. After Jiang Nuo went to the traditional Chinese medicine clinic, there were only 2 assistants present. "Where's Jiang Tianwei?" "I don't know." Jiang Nuo turned the pen in her hand. "Jiang Tianwei was absent from work for no reason, so don't stay here." While she was pondering, Jiang Nuo received a call from Jiang Hongsheng and returned to the Jiang family. In the living room of the Jiang family. Apart from Jiang Hongsheng and his family of 3, Lu Tingji, who had not seen him for many days, was also present. After her first glance in, Jiang Nuo didn't give him a single glance, as Lu Tingji didn't exist. The sound of teacups shattering on the ground. Jiang Hongsheng angrily accused him, Jiang Nuo, how dare you plot to harm Vice President Lin? Do you know how much effort we have put in for you before he agrees with you? It's okay now, there's nothing left. Jiang Nuo, you've disappointed me too much. Are you married to this poor guy in chapter 10? You are listening at novel full.audio. Alright, there's nothing good here, what should we put on? Jiang Nuo couldn't bear it and sat casually on the sofa, letting them go crazy. In one sentence, Jiang Hongsheng was almost so angry that his heart disease recurred. Sister, how could you be so angry with Dad? Dad is always doing it for you. Jiang Tianwei, a pure and innocent little white flower, accused Jiang Nuo of her crimes. Jiang Nuo has long been tired of their faces. Don't shout, I'm here to warn you for the last time. Don't provoke me. The next time, I won't be soft-hearted. Also, I have already left the Jiang family's household registration book. What does that mean? Lu Tingji, who had not spoken yet, his eyes were burning. Jiang Nuo smiled brightly and said calmly, I'm already married. Of course, I won't share a household registration book with them anymore. That's all for today. Goodbye. The word marriage instantly exploded in Lu Ting's mind. Lu Tingji strode to catch up with Jiang Nuo, his eyes splitting as he said, who is that man? Jiang Nuo struggled to shake off Lu Tingji, and her heart sank. A silver needle appeared in her hand and pierced him with lightning speed. Lu Tingji, who was in pain, immediately let go. He frowned in disbelief and said, do you want to deal with me? Next time, I'll just waste your hand. Jiang Nuo took out a wet towel in disgust and wiped the wrist he had touched. Her reaction pricked Lu Tingji's eyes. He felt the blood beating wildly in the position of his temple. Why? What qualifications does she have to dislike him? Jiang Nuo, dare you betray me? He looked crazy like a mad dog, and his questioning tone revealed his unwillingness. Jiang Nuo seemed to have noticed something unusual. She didn't get angry but smiled and said, Mr. Lu, you probably fell in love with me, right? Jiang Nuo, divorce that man immediately. As long as you admit your mistake, I can ignore your betrayal of me, but you must. Funny, who do you think you are? Lu Tingji, I used to be blind, but now that my eyes have healed, of course I won't take a liking to you, this trash again. Wishing you and Jiang Tianwei's bitch a dog for eternity. Before leaving, Jiang Nuo raised a finger towards Lu Tingji, and she saw with her own eyes the green and black expression on Lu Tingji's face, feeling incredibly happy. She had to watch with her own eyes as Lu Tingji lost everything he cared about. Mom. Brother Ting cares about that slut. She's already married, why does Brother Ting still care about her? It's all because that slut seduced Brother Ting. Jiang Tianwei, who was inside the room, saw everything just now and was so jealous that she was about to go crazy. Zhuang Jingshu comforted Jiang Tianwei and said, baby, just one Jiang Nuo can't stir up a storm. She has no power, and no background. She can't stand a foothold in the southern city. But her grandfather's traditional Chinese medicine clinic and the shares in the company are all in her hands. Jiang Tianwei felt unusually agitated at the thought. Don't be impatient, the Traditional Chinese Medicine Association is about to issue new regulations. If you want to open a traditional Chinese medicine clinic in Nanjing to practice medicine, you must become a member of the association. Jiang Nuo cannot enter, so there is no need to worry about the company. With us and Tingji present, it will be a matter of time before she is expelled from the Jiang group. Zhuang Jingshu smiled confidently, while Jiang Tianwei was ecstatic. Since her mother said so, it must be true. She has the support of the Jiang family and Lu family, but Jiang Nuo is not afraid. What about getting married? I'm not just a poor person. Jiang Nuo, you are only suitable as a stepping stone for me. After leaving the Jiang family, Jiang Nuo rode her bike to the construction site on Qin Shangyu. She knew the address and it was her first time here. So many buildings, I wonder which one Qin Shangyu is in. She dialed the phone from Qin Shangyu, but no one answered. Just as she was about to ask someone, Jiang Nuo suddenly saw a familiar face. Isn't that the worker brother who appeared with Qin Shangyu last time? How to wear a suit and leather shoes. There are 5 middle-aged men next to him, wearing the same suits and leather shoes, and it doesn't look like they are bricklayers at the construction site. Hello. I'm looking for. The person saw her and quickly turned around in fear, quickly dialing a phone number. Brother you, sister.In.Law is here, hurry. Jiang Nuo frowned, did he not see himself? Or pretend not to see it? As she was about to walk, Qin Shangyu appeared. Nuo Nuo, I'm here. Qin Shangyu, dressed in plastering work clothes, appeared, holding putty for plastering. Several men in suits behind the man widened their eyes in horror and said in unison, Qin. Lao Qin, let's talk first. We're going out for dinner. If we don't go again, the boxed lunch will be snatched away. Other men in suits. What is boxed lunch? In their stunned gaze, they could only follow him. Jiang Nuo walked over and vigorously wiped away the dust on his face, saying, Do your brothers need to dress so formally for a meal? Nuo Nuo, you may not know. If we dress poorly to eat, we will be looked down upon. If we dress better, we can earn some respect. Some people nowadays like to hold high and step down the most. This statement is actually true. Jiang Nuo felt deeply touched. You rely on labor to make a living, it's not embarrassing. Let's go eat. After Jiang Nuo and Qin Shangyu left, they saw a group of brothers in suits and leather shoes at an intersection. Some of them were standing eating boxed meals, while others were squatting and eating boxed meals. Their expressions were strange and indescribable. It looks very unpleasant, let's go somewhere else, Jiang Nuo suggested. Without waiting for Qin Shangyu to respond, the suit brothers in the distance shouted, Brother you, come quickly, there are chicken legs. Qin Shangyu. He wanted to take Jiang Nuo to another place. In order to hide his identity and socialize, Qin Shangyu took Jiang Nuo inside, we're used to it, the taste is pretty good. How pitiful. Even if you do physical work, you can't eat well. Are you so happy with a chicken leg? When Qin Shangyu and Jiang Nuo each served a boxed lunch, a luxury car stopped in front of them. After getting off the car, Lu Tingji's eyes were sharp and he self-mocked, Are you married to this poor ghost? It's none of your yarn business, Jiang Nuo immediately retorted. Angry, Lu Tingji reached out to pull her, but was stopped by Qin Shangyu and said, Move my wife, treat me as dead. What kind of thing are you? Even a poor ghost dares to snatch women from me. I advise you to be sensible and leave Jiang Nuo immediately, otherwise I have 100 ways to make you unable to stand in the southern city. Jiang Nuo stepped forward to block in front of Qin Shangyu. She fearlessly faced the burning gaze of Lu Tingji, mixed with complex emotions. What's going on? You want to be a male mistress? It's ridiculous. A man like you is not qualified yet. Your hair is not as good as my Shangyu. Hurry up and get out of here, don't interfere with my Mrs. Meal. Lu Tingji's heart instantly hurt, and he stared at Jiang Nuo incredulously. In her eyes, Jiang Nuo's love for him could never be found again. Qin Shangyu was so satisfied that the corner of his mouth curved upwards.